Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be on this planet of ours. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates, coming to you from the Area Command 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. We want to welcome everybody here to the premiere broadcast on this new channel. Folks, please subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so. And when you subscribe, please click on that bell icon. It's very important that you click on the bell icon that you have. It's an image of a bell in a circle. Click on that, and when you click on that, you'll have a drop-down menu of 3 items. When you see those 3 items, click on the word ALL. That should get you subscribed and notified to our channel when we come on the air. Why is this important? Because we come on the air at odd times. We usually come on the air Monday through Friday, anywhere between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Central Time, that would be 6 p.m. Mountain Time, that would be 5 p.m. Pacific Time, that would be 4 p.m. Pacific Time. Those other 3 time zones are very important, except if you are in the Eastern Time Zone. In that case, all 4 time zones are very important. Please remember that. Okay, we're going to continue to do what we did over on the other channel. Now, I want to give you a brief history before we get into the guts of this program that I want to talk about tonight. I got cut off from my Google email. That happened on Tuesday about 12 noon. They cut me off and said that I was out of there. I didn't know any of the passwords or anything. I tried my old password, and whoever hijacked that email address had installed a security key. When they installed that security key, that kept me out of that email completely. And I haven't been able to get through to Google since. I spent about 4 hours on Google yesterday afternoon trying to get through to them, and all I was on was hold, a persistent hold for 4 hours. And I'm going to continue to try to get through to them on a different manner on Monday morning to see if I can talk to somebody and get this whole thing straightened out. But then, yesterday about 12 noon, I got another message when I tried to get into the broadcast software for YouTube that I had been completely removed from YouTube. That is the message that I got. Now today, another one of our listeners, Rebecca, called me, and we found out that that channel still exists. It has not been taken down. Okay? The Emergency Management Associates channel has not been taken down, but it's gone private. So whoever hijacked, I believe whoever hijacked our channel also was the one who hijacked our Gmail. Okay, I don't believe YouTube shut it down until I hear it from the horse's mouth, probably, I hope, on Monday. So that's what happened. I gave you the sequence events. First, on Tuesday about noon, our Gmail got cut off. Then it went on all week long until today when I finally got on the air with this new channel. I started this new channel yesterday evening. I could not come on the air for 24 hours. They gave me permission to come on the air now. I have a feeling because that other channel got hijacked, not cut off. So I'm on this channel now. I'm going to continue to broadcast on this channel for as long as it takes to possibly get back to that other channel. And when I get back to that other channel, I will let everybody know. But until then, we're going to be here. Please pass that on to everybody. It's very important that you pass this message on to everybody that you know. That way we can get everybody to this channel. We, just prior to all this happening and me being taken off the air from that other channel, we had 24,965 subscribers. Just shy of 35 people, and we would have been at 25,000 subscribers. It's taken me 4 years to get to that point. Then they take it all away from me. I'm hoping to build this channel up as well. Okay? Demon Catman is in the chat. I'm watching the chat right now. He says your old main channel has disappeared from YouTube. I just went there just a few minutes ago, about an hour ago exactly, and it's still there, but it's gone private, which means the channel has been hijacked. Okay? That's what's going on. So what we're going to do is still actively pursue that old channel until we get it back. And if we can't get it back, then we're going to be on this channel. Now I believe if Google talks to me and I prove it to them that I am who I am, and they can easily see that from my broadcasts, they will easily let me back. I've also got my photocopied, well, not photocopied, but screenshotted ID card, my driver's license, my state driver's license, and that should also help me getting my channel back, I hope. That's a pursuit where I hope to get the channel back. That's what happened. So now you know as much as I know. Okay? Demon Catman says it disappeared from YouTube. I'm working on getting it back. Please pass this information on. It's critical. Pass it on every messenger chat that we have. Pass it on all your correspondence with whoever you deal with, whoever you talk to about us. Pass it on to everybody. We're going to be here and talk about earthquakes. We're going to be talking about emergencies. We're going to be talking about disasters. And we're going to be talking about emergency preparedness from now on. Also on Sundays, we're still going to do our Come Follow Me Sunday School class. That's imperative that we continue all these programs that we've previously done. Again, during the week, we'll be on between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern Time, our normal time. If we happen to come on off times, that's because an emergency or a disaster has occurred that we need to get the information out. Now, given that situation, there's a lot of things politically that are happening here in the United States and around the world. I was notified today that the United States was trailed by a Japanese fighter. The United States Navy flyer, United States Navy fighter pilot was almost wingtip to wingtip with the Chinese fighter pilot in the Sea of China. Okay? Or the Chinese Sea, way down south to the west. Okay? They were in the international waters, but the Chinese fighter followed him wingtip to wingtip. Okay? There was no collision or anything. And finally, at some point, the Chinese pilot fell back and got out of the way, and there was no more problem. But that happened today. If anything happens, I will come on the air and let you know about it. We expect a war between the U.S. and China, and possibly Russia. There's a lot of finagling going on behind the scenes, and I believe they're trying to start a war. Okay? There's a lot of stuff going on. We don't have access to everything. I have people in the military and various sources that give me information, and I will pass that information on to you. But anyway, what we're doing is trying to keep on going and doing the things that we were doing prior to all this happening. That's our goal. I want to make sure that you know that I'm committed to staying here and giving you the information that we've been doing. Okay? That's highly important. Now, I'm just going back and discussing a few other things that have been going on prior to us going off the air. Again, what did we talk about last week? Okay? What did we talk about last Monday on February 20th before we were taken down? We talked about Palestine, okay? Palestine, Ohio. The people in Canada and New York and New Jersey have been reporting and still are reporting grit and soot on their cars. They're reporting grit and soot on their cars. Health experts are continuing to question whether the Palestine train derailment site is safe, truly safe. Okay? I've heard people complaining of tasting or feeling grit in their mouth and their noses while breathing. And that's just not going for Canada and Ohio. That's going for New York, New Jersey, West Virginia, and Virginia, and points north up into Delaware, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Maine, New Hampshire, in that area, and up into Canada. Okay? Why? Because that wind or breeze coming through Palestine, Ohio, was blowing east-northeast. And all that air came up and went east to northeast, all the way up the eastern seaboard. I also believe that some of that air even got down to where I am in North Carolina. I'm just south of West Virginia and Virginia. Okay? All those areas, all those states to the east got nailed, and maybe even down into northern Tennessee. I don't know. So far, nobody from Tennessee has talked to me about this, but that's what's going on. They've been complaining of tasting or feeling grit in their mouths and noses. They've not complained about any smoke. Any smoke that went up has now dissipated because the fires are out. Now, I've seen videos too graphic to show in this program. I mentioned what I saw on Monday. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. Okay? People have been poisoned. The last time this happened in Missouri, they had to pay off everybody and tell them to evacuate the area in Missouri that was polluted by chemicals, and they stripped that area of soil and reinvested in that area and turned it into a park. Would I go back there to have a picnic? Not on anybody's life, including mine. Okay? What happened in Love Canal in New York? The same thing. They evacuated the area, but now there's still people living in that area that are getting sick. All these years later. That happened, the Love Canal happened in the late 40s and early 50s up to 1953. And yet people are still getting sick today from chemical poisoning. And I believe the same thing is going to happen in Ohio. I can almost guarantee it. Damon Catman is in chat, says reports of chemical bronchitis have risen rapidly. You're right. You're absolutely right. And it's going to happen even more. Okay? Now, this past week, there was a group of politicians that went into Palestine, New York, or Palestine, Ohio. There was the mayor of East Palestine. There was the representative, Mr. Regan, from the EPA. And there was also another guy, I can't remember his name. They all went to East Palestine. They went into a resident's home there. They poured water into glasses right out of the tap. They cheered each other. They clinked their glasses together and drank water out of the tap to prove to people that it was safe to drink. Okay? Now, why did they do that? They explained that their wells that they had dug into the earth to tap water out of were lined with steel. They said their wells were lined with steel. How is that possible? They may have put the steel on the top of the well structure, but they drilled into the earth to get the water out of the earth. I'm sorry, I don't believe the wells were cast in steel. I find that very hard to believe. And besides that, what happened just prior to the fire? Chemicals were leaked into the soil, and in one case, chemicals were leaked purposely because they dug a very deep trench. They dug a deep trench that was, I believe, 2 miles long. Then they blew out the bottom of those tankers that contained that chemical and leaked that chemical into the earth in that trench. Then they lit it on fire, which caused all those chemicals and stuff to burn, and all that smoke to rise up into the air, to spread in the air into the environment. So not only did they pollute the earth because those chemicals seeped into the ground, into the soil, And those chemicals also have seeped now into the water table. Then on top of that, all that smoke and soot and nasty stuff got into the air, didn't it? And as that nasty stuff spread into the environment through the air, it polluted the lakes, it polluted the streams, the creeks, and the rivers. I showed you videos the other day of that. I showed you videos showing the oily, greasy substance on the surface of the creeks. And it has been detected in the Ohio River as well, and other lakes and streams in the area. So it's a fact that that area is polluted. Now, the chemical that leaked into the soil and everywhere else is a typical chemical that can cause cancer. It can cause other health defects now and in years into the future. I show you a picture of a woman just days after this happened, and she took a shower and she had burns on her face, which some attributed to a rash on her face as a result of having taken a shower. Not just her face, but her entire body. They showed her face and her neck and the top of her shoulders. That's all they showed. It's continuing. Okay? So people are suffering ill health effects. And just like the mayor and just like several congressmen have stated, if you are affected by any of that, if any of you are listening to this channel now, please, folks, please go to your doctors and get it documented. If it can't be documented, it's not fact. It needs to be documented. Okay? Please do that for your own protection. All right? That's very, very important. I'd also tell you to drink bottled water. That is your safest bet. And even bathe and wash off with bottled water. Okay? Now, as I reported before, a CEO named Alan Shaw visited Palestine, Ohio citizens last Saturday, and they're continuing to work with the citizens there. I know that for a fact too. Norfolk Southern CEO Alan Shaw met with officials in East Palestine last Saturday following the train derailment on February 3rd. Shaw briefly told reporters that he was there to support the community after the rail operator Norfolk Southern came under scrutiny for its response to the disaster. Now, I want to pause here just for a minute. People are blaming Norfolk Southern for disposing of the chemical. For the disposal of the chemical. Meaning they say Norfolk Southern gave instructions to put that chemical into that trench and then burn it off. I don't think so. Because the material safety data sheets on these chemicals calls for other ways to dispose of this chemical, and burning it off is not one of them, and putting it in a trench is not one of them. Okay? I'm just saying. I want to make sure everybody's aware of it. I still do not believe that Norfolk Southern was directly connected to this. And as I stated before, about 20 minutes before that train pulled through Palestine, Ohio, it was seen on security video that there was a rail car. One of the box cars, I believe, was heated up. And I forgot, and I should have brought that in tonight. I will do that this next week. I will show you a box car that I have for my own model railroad. I will show you exactly how that works, but I'm going to describe it again for you right now. Those metal wheels are steel wheels on the trucks of the car, of the box car, or any car. Any railroad car has two sets of trucks, one at the front and one at the back of each car. The trucks are 8 wheels. There are 2 on each side. Okay? 2 on each side. 2 on the left side, 2 on the right side, front, and 2 on the back side, rear, and 1 on the other side of the rear side of the car. So there's a total of 8 wheels total on every car, every train car. One of those wheels allegedly was stuck with a brake. Okay? And that brake rubbing on that steel tire, and it's a tire, on that steel wheel, heated up that wheel significantly. And as it spun, it heated up more and more, and it will get red hot. That's how that fire started. It may not be the rail company that started it. It may have been intentional. We don't know that yet. But it may have been intentional. And that was just the beginning. Why did it derail then over in Palestine, Ohio? Someone messed with the tracks. I believe someone messed with the tracks. And there are different stories on how that could have happened. And I have well enough information to share that with you this next week. Okay? But that's immaterial. If that happened, it was sabotage. Sabotage to derail that train. And derail where it derailed. Okay? Now, in doing this, like I said, the CEO of Norfolk Southern now has come forward, and the company is offering a lot of money to people. Not just a $1,000 check to hit this person and that person that lives there. Children and parents, they offered at least $1,000 to each of those people. And that was not just a one-time payoff. That was just from the train, from the company. Now, as I pointed out the other day, I showed you a list of people, a list of companies that own Norfolk Southern. It's not just a company, it's a bunch of companies that own and hold stock in Norfolk Southern. 2 of those companies, Blackhawk and Vanguard, work for the government. They're owned literally by the government. So this brings in a whole nother end to this story. Okay? I don't like the government. I don't trust them, and nobody should. Okay? But there's so much going on here. Now, there are congressmen involved that have been there. One of them was there. I showed you the video where he stirred up the bottom of that creek and brought up all that poison up to the top of the water. He's been there. Many other politicians have been there, including that yo-yo from the Department of Transportation, Peter Buttigieg. Okay? He's been there now. Only after President Trump got there. Only after President Trump got there. Okay? Now, the story that I heard before President Trump got there was Erin Brockovich was supposed to be there with him. I did not see Erin Brockovich with President Trump, but I am sure that she had something to do with it there. Okay? I don't think she would just back out. She's an expert in this kind of thing. And she's going to offer expert testimony when the Congress investigates this whole rigmarole. But it's not just that. Okay? It's not just that. Other trains have also derailed this year. This year. And after this accident itself, we had another derailment in South Carolina. We had another derailment in Michigan near Detroit. And we've had 3 more derailments this week. Okay? How many more derailments do we have to have before it becomes more than a coincidence? And I believe it's more than a coincidence. This doesn't just happen. Okay? It doesn't just happen. It continues to happen. There's something else with it. And then on top of that, okay, and it gets even weirder. On top of all of this, there have been some explosions. Again, the explosions just don't just happen. Okay? They don't just happen. One of the biggest explosions that I am worried about right now, yes, the fire is out. This happened 3 days ago near Knoxville, Tennessee. And this comes from WATE television in Tennessee. Officials with Y-12 National Security Complex in Oak Ridge, Tennessee, said there were no injuries nor any indication of release of radioactivity after a fire involving uranium occurred early Wednesday this week. According to a release from the U.S. Department of Energy's National Nuclear Security Administration, the NNSA, the fire occurred at 9:12 a.m. Stephen Wyatt from NNSA said that there was a hood fire in Building 9212. Now, Building 9212. Anytime there is a complex involving the United States government, they do not give addresses to the buildings. The only addresses they give are numbers. And many times, the number of one building does not relate to a number on another building. It's like they give a little child a bunch of numbers, and the child just drops them off at here, and drops them off here, and drops them off here. Why do I say that? Because I've been on so many government reservations, military reservations and such. I've seen it happen. One number does not relate to another and doesn't relate to another. Okay? But this was in Building 9212, a uranium processing facility where they process uranium. The building and some nearby areas were evacuated. Tony Bozer, who is a technical advisor, said that the fire was in a processing area and was contained to that area. The cause of the fire is not known, according to Patterson. An investigation is ongoing, and this would be typical of any kind of explosion or fire or any other kind of accident on any reservation or government facility. There would be an investigation ongoing, and it will be ongoing for quite a while, just not a few days. I know how those things go. All employees have been accounted for there in Knoxville, Tennessee. There were no injuries. Consolidated Nuclear Security spokesman Gene Patterson said that the CNS is contracted by the NNSA to operate Y-12. There is continuous air monitors in the area, and they have not alerted officials to any release of radioactivity. There are air monitors all over that area, and they have not given or indicated any kind of release of radioactivity, according to Wyatt. Officials said that there are no impacts to the public, and a shelter-in-place order for employees was lifted at 11:30 a.m., 2 hours after the fire got out, or fire started. Okay? The shelter-in-place was lifted 2 hours after the fire started. Okay? Now, according to the Y-12 website, a new uranium processing facility is being constructed to phase out dependency on Building 9212. So they've been in the process of building a brand new processing facility, and they were going to phase out Building 9212. The building was constructed. Building 9212 was constructed in 1945 and has undergone multiple renovations and repairs over the years. Okay, and this time it's probably shut down. That wouldn't surprise me, considering what happened there. And I don't think we've entered an area where this is going to be over. I have a feeling we're going to hear about this for a long time going on into the future. Okay, I will be researching the train derailments on a very fine-tooth comb kind of investigation of my own, and I will be talking about that on Monday. Okay, also I want to talk to you about some earthquakes today. Folks, we've had some large earthquakes, some very strong sixes. Okay, some very, very strong sixes. I'm going to show you those now. Okay, I want everybody to understand what is going on tectonic plate-wise, literally all over the world. Okay, first off, let's go over here to the Pacific Northwest. Down here over on the Blanco fracture zone. Okay, this is in the Cascadia subduction zone, the subduction zone region. The Cascadia subduction zone is that vertical line here running up the coast from Northern California all the way up here past Oregon and Washington going north, and it runs parallel to Vancouver, British Columbia, and all the way up here to Queen Charlotte Island. That is a Cascadia subduction zone. Meanwhile, that zigzag fault right here that I'm showing you, that zigzag fault that's out west of the Cascadia subduction zone, that is called the Juan de Fuca fault. The Juan de Fuca fault connects with the Cascadia subduction zone on the southern end of Queen Charlotte Island, and then it comes down here to the Blanco fracture zone, to the northwest portion of the Blanco fracture zone. And it's this line that runs from the northwest to the southeast here, right where just past this, where this orange dot is. Okay, this is a 3.0 magnitude earthquake on the Blanco fracture zone, and it's part of the Cascadia subduction zone region. Okay, this is just off the coast of Oregon today. We've had multiple earthquakes in this area, including an up to 5.5 magnitude earthquakes. Okay? Now, we're not showing any other earthquakes down here on the Gorda Escarpment or around the Triple Junction, where the Cascadia subduction zone, the Gorda Escarpment, and the San Andreas Fault meet. Okay? But I'm sure there's plenty of tremors there. Okay? There's not a day go by where there's not tremors in that area. Up here on the other side in Northern California here, we have another earthquake. This is near Willow Creek in California. This is west of Mount Shasta. This is a 2.7 earthquake. A 2.7 minor earthquake, 31 kilometers deep. Okay? It's in the mountains there. It's in the mountains there, just west of Shasta. Now, why is that important? This is just west of a volcano. There may also be magma channels down here coming in from the Pacific Ocean going into the area of California. Underground magma channels feeding Shasta and Lassen. Okay? I know that happens. I know for a fact it happens. Down here in California, you don't see much listed here, do you? Because they're hiding it. They're hiding it. I can guarantee you that. They're hiding the information. Down here in Mexico, we've had quite a series of earthquakes. Okay? We have a bunch of earthquakes down here in the Anza Gap area, just north of the Salton Sea. I know for a fact that we've got earthquakes down here in the Imperial County Valley here, south of the Salton Sea, and I know we have plenty of earthquakes down here in Mexico that they're not showing us. Okay? That's typical of USGS. Now, Down here off the coast of southern Mexico. This is a 4.3 moderate earthquake. 4.0 to 4.9 are considered to be moderate earthquakes. This is a 4.1. Okay, or I mean it's 4.3 here. South of that, we have a 4.3 here as well. Okay, this is just off the coast of the Rivieras of Mexico. Manzanillo, Zihuatanejo, Acapulco, and just north and east of there, Puerto Vallarta, the Riviera of Mexico. These are also on another fault that we all know and love, called the San Andreas Fault. Okay? See that earthquake fault there that runs right through the Gulf of California and right up into Mexico and California here? The San Andreas Fault, guys. This seismic energy is going north as well. Okay? Now, let's go down here to southern Mexico, or southern America here. Okay? This is northern Chile and Argentina and Bolivia area. This particular earthquake is a 4.2 over on the Chilean-Bolivian border. Atocha, A-T-O-C-H-A, Bolivia. This is also a moderate 4.2. Just west of there is a 4.1 near Tocopilla, Chile, northern Chile. Down here, just off the coast of southern Chile, it's central Chile, I should say, is a 4.8 moderate earthquake. An upper 4, 26 kilometers deep, a 4.8. Okay? Over here in the Atlantic, we have a 5.1. Where did this come from? The southern Atlantic. Just a day or so ago, we had a 5.0. Well, it was actually a 5.1 down here in the South Sandwich Islands. And now we have this in the southern Atlantic zone. Okay? The southern mid-Atlantic. This is also going to go north. Okay? But the big earthquakes I want to talk about are over here. This is Papua New Guinea. Okay? This is a big deal over in Papua New Guinea. This is a 6.2 magnitude earthquake. It came out as a 6.4, and I believe it's either a 6.4 to a 6.8 earthquake. I believe this to be a 6.4 to a 6.8 earthquake, not a 6.2. Regardless, this is considered to be a very strong earthquake. And you can see the aftershocks from these earthquakes. Okay? This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake. Okay? 43 kilometers deep. This also is a 4.4 here, just northeast of the 6.4, 6.8. Again, they brought it down to 4.2, downgrade. Northeast of there, by about 150 miles, we have another 4.7. Mid-range 4 here, moderate earthquake, 6.2 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. Okay? This one here, this very strong earthquake was 38 kilometers deep. Fairly shallow quake. A fairly shallow quake. Now, I'm going to take you over here into Indonesia. This is appalling. This is very appalling to me. They're showing four earthquakes here in Indonesia. Again, for those people that have not watched this channel before, in this Indonesia, Australia, New Zealand, Tonga, Samoa, Solomon Islands, Vanuatu, the New Caledonia area, the Loyalty Islands, it's all part of a huge 7 tectonic plate subduction zone. It's a huge subduction zone involving 7 different plates, one subducting under the other. They're showing 4 earthquakes here, except for that 6.2 and the aftershocks from it. 4 earthquakes. There's actually 22 earthquakes in this area today. They're showing 4. They're showing 4. That is what is appalling here. There's also earthquakes up in the Philippines. Okay? Down here in southern Sumatra, this is a 4.9, 5.0. Yes, it was a 5.1. They downgraded it to a 4.9. The 4.9 society is alive and well. Again, heaven forbid that they show a large 5.0 here. Every time there's something like this, they downgrade it. Heaven forbid they don't want anything large to be showing. Down here in southwestern Indonesia, this is a 4.66 kilometers, 6 miles deep. 4.6 mid-range 4, moderate earthquake. Over here in eastern Indonesia, this is also 4.6, 155 kilometers deep. Okay? Up here, this is northern Indonesia. Actually, north central Indonesia. Tumalion, Indonesia. It's another 4.9, 5.0. What is wrong with this? What is wrong with this? Again, they don't want the large earthquakes to be shown, and they don't want any other earthquakes to be shown. I've checked this area all day long, literally. There's 22 other earthquakes in this region that they are not showing. Why not? You have to ask why not. Then, let's go north here. There's more to talk about here. Over here, just off of Luzon Island, Philippines, this is another 4.5 magnitude earthquake just north of there. It's on a subduction zone plate. Okay? This is a 4.5 mid-range moderate quake. Again, 6.2 kilometers deep on the fault. On the fault. This goes up into Taiwan, doesn't it? Over here on the southeastern part of Taiwan, we have a 4.6 that came out as a 4.9. They downgraded. Now this is just on the shoreline, literally. Okay? Yes, it was not a large quake. It may have done moderate damage, like knocking books off shelves, knocking pictures off walls, and things like that over here in Taiwan. It's offshore for the most part. Okay? Sometimes when there's a large amount of water, when the earthquake's offshore, the water absorbs most of the shock waves. But when it's close, the residents and citizens of those countries and cities may feel some shaking, and that's what I think happened here in Taiwan today. Okay? That's what happened. Then we go north. Okay? This is also another fault line. Okay? This is a 5.1 magnitude earthquake. Ishikawa, Japan. This was off in the Pacific Ocean here, or I believe it may be the East China Sea. This may be even the East China Sea up here. Okay? This was a 5.1. I believe it may have been a large earthquake here. Again, they call it out as a 10 kilometer deep or 6.2 mile deep quake. Then all they show up here is an earthquake just southeast of Honshu, Japan. This is again a mid-range 4.6 moderate quake. Again, it's 10.4 kilometers deep. I'm sorry, not 10. This is 70.4 kilometers deep. Still a fairly shallow earthquake. But this is not the only earthquake that hit Japan. There have been 2 other earthquakes that I know of that hit off the main part of Japan today. Then we go north to Hokkaido, Japan. Just off the northern shore of Hokkaido. This is the northernmost island of Japan. What do we have here? They called this a 6.0. Well, folks, this 6.0 was not just a 6.0. It originally was another 6.4 earthquake. Another 6.4. Okay? Again, they don't want to tell us exactly how strong these earthquakes are. I have a problem with that, and I think everybody should. Everybody that's not a part of what the government wants us to know about has a problem with it. They have a problem with it, and they should. Okay? Please, guys, smash that thumbs up. I see right now we have 18 thumbs up. That's great. Please smash that thumbs up. We'd appreciate it. We have 56 subscribers here. That's wonderful. I'm proud of that. Okay? I'm very proud of that. It says we have one person watching now. Let me refresh this here. I have a feeling we have way more than that watching. Yeah, we have 12 watching now. Woohoo! We have 12 people watching our channel. Isn't that something? On a normal day, we'll have anywhere from 1,200 to 1,800 people, 2,000 people watching our channel live. We have 12 people watching now. That's a crying shame, just because YouTube or some idiot. Anyway, folks, this 6.0 has me worried because this is off the coast of Hokkaido, Japan. This seismic energy, it's a 6.0 to a 6.9 are considered to be very strong earthquakes. 7.0 would be a major earthquake. Why would a 6.0 worry me? Because I don't think it was really a 6.0, a 6.4 maybe. Regardless, that energy is traveling north here on the western side of the Pacific. It's traveling north up this tectonic plate here, up this earthquake superhighway. Up this earthquake superhighway. What is up here? Okay? Just south of Kamchatka Peninsula. This is a 4.4 in the Kuril Islands. I don't believe the Kuril Islands are occupied. This is just south of a major volcano. There's many volcanoes over here in the Kuril Islands. This is south of Aveyah volcano that's almost always erupting. This is a 4.4 earthquake, 84 kilometers deep. Then this one here, this one also worries me. I believe this was over a 5.0. They have it listed here as a 5.0. I think this was substantially larger as well. Okay, this is just off the southeast coast of Kamchatka Peninsula. It belongs to Russia. 70 kilometers deep. Okay. Then we come over here to the Aleutian Islands. Okay, we report an earthquake up here. This is near Sand Point, Alaska, just southeast of Sand Point, Alaska. This is the same location where we had a 7.1, a 7.4, and an 8.7 earthquake 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Okay. Now we have a 4.4 moderate earthquake here. This may be an aftershock of that earthquake. When we get those large, substantially large earthquakes, aftershocks can go on for weeks, months, or even years. We've had these earthquakes here. Now you can see there's a substantial number of earthquakes here in Alaska. Okay? Not really anything to worry about. Yet. Most of them are ones and twos for the most part. Then we come up to this earthquake that just happened here. This is a 2.7. This is east central Alaska. Okay, a 2.7 earthquake, 17 kilometers deep. Notice where it's at. Notice where this earthquake is at. It's on another plate. See the craton here? See how it comes down out of the north there, and then it curves out to the east and south here. Those are the northern Rocky Mountains. Those are the North Rocky Mountains. the edge of the plate here. Okay, the edge of the plate. That's what's going on here. Okay, and I showed you what's going on the west coast here. We can come back to that. Over here, okay, this is nothing really to worry about except for the point that USGS is not reporting adequately the earthquakes that are happening here. There are a lot of earthquakes that have hit this area. This is over near Tajikistan. We just got through having a 6.0 over here in Tajikistan. Today, it's a 4.2 here. 6 miles deep, 10 kilometers deep. We also had plenty of earthquakes over here in Myanmar today. They don't show any. Okay? They don't show any. We also had several earthquakes over in China. They're not showing us that either. Okay? What are they showing us? This is really interesting, guys. This is really interesting. Look here in Turkey. This is a 4.4 magnitude quake. This is a 4.1 magnitude quake. 6.4 kilometers deep and 5.1 kilometers deep. Really? How many earthquakes did they really have? Quite a few, actually. They're only showing 2 out of a great many earthquakes. 2. Only 2. Then over here, this is also in central Turkey, south central Turkey. This is a large 5.2 earthquake. Okay, a large 5.2 earthquake. This is nothing. Yes, it's a large earthquake. Large earthquakes can make a lot of destruction, especially in this part of the world. They can create havoc in this part of the world. But this same area, folks, just experienced a 9.0 earthquake over where those other earthquakes hit today. Just 3.5 weeks ago, that area got hit by 9.0 activity. Not 7.5, 7.8, it was 9.0 earthquake, at least. It may have been a 10.0. I reported, and I may still show this, but they created this major earthquake. It was, again, a 7.8 magnitude earthquake that they said, that they reported. It does not open the Grand Canyon of Turkey. There was a huge fissure that opened up there. A huge fissure. A huge fissure. And I showed you the video of it the other day. And I may show it again. You can't make this stuff up. Okay? Over 50,000 people killed. And upwards of 100,000 people injured. And that's from only the people that they have found. Okay? Only the people that they have found. That's what's sad. Okay? Very sad. And they're going to still get earthquakes hitting here for weeks or months and even years. This is not over by a huge long shot. Okay? Earthquakes all over this region, and they are not even reporting them. Greece, Crete area, Western Turkey, not reporting. Over here in Sicily and Italy, not reporting. Not reporting. What is wrong with that? Over here in northern Italy and Germany and Switzerland and France, not reporting. Now, given the situation that we have over here in this section of Europe and Africa, okay, I believe central Italy here that I'm showing you, I believe central Italy is going to get hit with a very large earthquake. 5.6 to 6.0 earthquake. We have tons of earthquakes there. Tons of earthquakes. And where we have all these minor tremors and earthquakes, there's usually a larger earthquake coming. Marcia, Italy, central Italy. Marche, Marche, Italy. It's the name of a town here. That area is going to be slammed by a very large earthquake, I can assure you. Okay? It's going to get hit. Down here in southern Italy, over here near Sicily, just off the coast, we have some volcanoes, don't we? Oh yeah. Stromboli volcano and Mount Etna are moving. They're putting on quite a show out here. Okay? A lot of earthquakes in this area. But heaven forbid they show it here, do they? Now, given that, over here off of the coast of Sicily, there's a land area called Malta. It's here in the Mediterranean. Malta. Malta has recently been hit with 2 5.0 earthquakes. We know the energy's there. We know the energy's there, and this happens also to be the edge of the craton here. Okay, there's a plate edge there. But given everything that we know and what has been going on, I want to back out here and show you something else. Just down here, okay, just down here, northern Africa here. I believe this humped area that you see here, this bulge coming out of northern Africa. See where the plate is? You can clearly see where the edge of the plate is. Okay? The earthquake zone here. Okay? You can clearly see where that is. Folks, if you are here in this area, if you're listening to me right now, I can assure you there is a major earthquake coming. Okay? I believe there's a major earthquake coming to this area. And I'm going to talk in the realm of 6.5 to 7.5 earthquake, somewhere in that area. And it's going to hit down here in northern Africa. Okay? During this past week, we've seen a lot of earthquakes over here in Central Africa. We've seen this. We've seen 5.0s hitting here. Okay? There's going to be more. There's going to be more. I'm just telling you that there's a lot of earthquakes that are going to hit here. It could split Africa in half. Okay? I don't know when it's going to happen, but I'm just telling you. Okay? There's earthquakes over here in Spain, over here near the Strait of Gibraltar. A lot of earthquakes. Down here in the Canary Islands, there's also here a lot of earthquakes. And they're not showing it, are they? They're not showing any. Okay? We've had some earthquakes over here in England here. Had earthquakes in England. We've had earthquakes today over here in Iceland, and they're not showing them to us. We have an active volcano there, and it's still putting out lava. Okay? They're not showing it. Now, I'm just going to briefly, I'm going to bring this up just a second here. I'm going to show you something. Oh, come on. No, that's not what I wanted to show you. Just a second here, I'll get it. Look here. That's where these earthquakes are happening. Just so you know. That's Iceland. Okay? That's Iceland. To the north, 1.1, 1.0. Now, they can be ones, but when you see swarms of ones, that usually means there's a larger earthquake coming, doesn't it? Okay? We have some ones to the north. We go down just north of that glacier. We have another one and another 1.2. Down on the glacier, this is also a volcano under the glacier. we have a 1.9 2.0. Okay? Also over here, there's another volcano here. There's a 1.3. What do we know about volcanoes? What do we know about volcanoes? These volcanoes that have been sitting there not doing anything are waking up. They're all waking up. Like I said, over in the Canary Islands, look at this. We've got 2 earthquakes here. Okay? Let me show you. This is over by Tenerife. Actually, 3 earthquakes. Okay? We've got a 1.5, a 2.4, and a 1.5. There's a 2.4 there, just off the east coast of Tenerife Island. Okay? Earthquakes over in the Canary Islands. Like I said, Spain and Portugal, look at that. Earthquakes down here, just east of the Strait of Gibraltar. They're not showing any of these. None. Over here in Italy and France. Look at that. None. They're showing none. Earthquakes there. Let's go over to Puerto Rico. Okay? I want to show you this. Okay? This is quite amazing. This is quite amazing. Well, we have one earthquake up here just off the coast. Well, it's just not off the coast. It's over here in the Caribbean, just north of Puerto Rico. This is a 3.3. You can see that red line just above it that's running east and west. That's the Cayman Trench, an earthquake superhighway. That's how that 3.3 came about. The Cayman Trench dropped that earthquake here. But off the southwest coast of Puerto Rico, down here, these earthquakes are aftershocks of 2 8.0 and 8.4 earthquakes here. Just over 3 years ago. December 28th and December 30th, 2019. Okay? An 8.0 and 8.4 earthquake. December 28th and the other one on December 30th. Man-made earthquakes. And we're still getting hit here. What did I say about very large earthquakes? 8.0 and 8.4 are major earthquakes. Whenever we have a major earthquake, folks, we have aftershocks that go on for years. This is over 3 years, and we're still getting hit here. This is a 3.5 earthquake that I highlighted. Right next to it, this is a 2.1. Just south of it is another 2.5. Over here is a 3.5. That's a small quake. Northwest, a 2.5. Just north of that one is another 2.3. And this is a 2.6. And guess what? Okay, this is in southwestern Puerto Rico. Southwestern Puerto Rico. Would you like me to show you where USGS said this earthquake was? Look at this. They say this earthquake was in the Mona Passage. They said it was in the Mona Passage, which is a body of water that separates Puerto Rico from over here in the Dominican Republic. Okay, that's the Mona Passage. This earthquake is nowhere near the Mona Passage, folks. Again, USGS does nothing but lie. They lie about earthquakes, they lie about the existence, they lie about the positions of the earthquakes. Folks, this was a 2.6 in southwestern Puerto Rico, not in the Mona Passage. How dare they? They lie, they lie, they lie, and it's continuous. East of there, I didn't show you these two here. This is a 2 points, excuse me. This is a 2.1 here, and this is a 2.5 here. So we've had mid-range 2s, and we've even had a 3.5 here. This is over 3 years after 2 major earthquakes hit this area. And I explained before how those earthquakes originated. They were man-made earthquakes. Okay? They had nothing to do with natural earthquakes. Man-made earthquakes. Now, before I leave here, I want to tell you about another quake here. Okay? This happened over here in the, well, this one here, I'm going to tell you about 2 earthquakes here. This one here happened over in the New Madrid Fault area. This is in southeastern Missouri. Okay, this is a 1.6 tremor. 1.6 tremor in the center of the New Madrid Fault. Just east of there in Tennessee, we had a 2.6, but they took it down. They took it down. So this we have in the middle of the New Madrid Fault area. Okay? Before they took us down, I showed you other earthquakes in this area. Okay? This is a 2.4 in Oklahoma. Oklahoma, this is an entirely different can of worms. Okay? Oklahoma. Cole, Oklahoma is where this earthquake hit. Let's zoom in on Oklahoma here. Okay? Zoom in here. This is an oil and gas rich area. You see oil and gas pads all over this area just north of this earthquake. Let's zoom in on here. Okay? This is just 3 kilometers north of Cole, Oklahoma. Okay? There's an oil and gas pad right there that I'm showing you. Over here, there's another one. Over here, there's another one. North of here, there's others here. Okay? They're all over this area. Oil and gas drilling pads. Okay? Pumps and jacks throughout this area. That's why this earthquake hit. Anytime there is an oil and gas pad within 6 to 10 miles off of the earthquake, you can guarantee that that earthquake was as a result of the drilling for oil and gas. Now, it does not have to be an active place they're pulling oil out of. It could be an inactive hole, but still it's a hole. Anytime we have a hole in the earth, whether it's natural or man-made, it's an earthquake fault. And seismic energy hits those holes in the earth and causes rock to shatter. Rock to completely come to pieces. That's what causes the ground to move. That's what happened here. Okay? A natural, man-made earthquake fault. Okay? I called it natural and man-made. Guess what? Seismic energy found it. Okay? But man drilled into the earth that caused that earth to shake. Okay? Now there's other earthquakes here as well, but they're not telling us about it. Okay? I've given you a look around the world now on our new channel. We'll continue broadcasting on this new channel as long as we can, and we're going to be here to tell you about earthquakes, disasters, and emergencies all across the planet. Okay? Please tell your friends that we are here. We've got 57 subscribers here. It says 12 people are still watching this program. I hope it's a lot more than that. Okay? I can't guarantee it, but I believe it is. Please, folks, we're here. We're here to serve you. If you have any questions, send them over to Emergency Management Associates at protonmail.com. Emergency Management Associates at protonmail.com. I'll be checking in there every day until we can get Gmail cleared up, and if not, we'll start a new Gmail account. Okay, but protonmail.com is where our Gmail, or where our our email is emergencymanagementassociates@protonmail.com. You have my telephone number here in case you have an emergency or a major question. I'll be happy to do that. Or you can send me messages there. Text message me there, and I will make sure that I get back with you. I always do. If anybody has questions. Guys, I appreciate you being here. I will continue to put this information up for you every day. Okay? Please pass this information on to the location of this channel so more and more people will get here. I would love this channel to grow like the other one had. Okay? Please pass this information on to everybody that you know, and anybody that you might think that subscribed to this channel before. Tell them that we are here. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to be arguing with Google come Monday morning. Tomorrow morning at 12 noon, we'll be having Sunday school here. We're going to be still talking about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John in the Bible, in the New Testament. And I promise you it's going to be a very interesting lesson tomorrow. We're going to have fun with this. Okay? I love teaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. I have a firm testimony of the gospel of Jesus Christ. I would not be here unless I did. But we have fun with this. We learn a lot. We get close. I hope to shout that we get closer to Jesus Christ through speaking about him and learning more of he and his gospel. We love the gospel of Jesus Christ. Okay? Please join us tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Time, 11 a.m. Central Time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and 9 a.m. Pacific Time. Okay? That's when you're going to see us here talking about the gospel of Jesus Christ, and we'll be here with "Come Follow Me," the Savior said. I hope to see you then here. Thank you guys for joining us. I know it was an impromptu class today, but I felt it necessary to at least get on the air to tell you what happened. Yes, it was Google's fault, and I'm going to hold them responsible. Okay? At first I thought I was hacked on my Gmail account, and then all of a sudden yesterday the channel went down. Go figure. Go figure. Guys, have a great night, and we will talk at you tomorrow. If anything else happens, we'll be back here to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Until then, have a great night and a better tomorrow. God be with you till we meet again. We will see you around the corner. Good night, everybody. Have fun.